right, let's unpack this further with retired JMPD Chief David Tembe, who joins me now live in studio. Thank you very much for joining us, Chief Tembe, and for giving us your time. With this story, just explain to us, maybe as motorists, we don't know, what is the first thing that police who are called to a scene like this, what's the first thing they're supposed to do? Breathalyzers, blood tests?
Normally, we have got special units that deal with accidents. Let's say we call it a crash investigation unit that is with RTMC. Because when I look at it, there are more than five people or more.
Yes.
When it is like that, you have to notify SAPS. When you are involved in an accident, you notify emergency services to treat the injured ones. But then, because there are more than five, RTMC has to be notified so that they can respond. Those are the one who does crash investigations. Even SAPS, because most of traffic department doesn't have the investigation unit to investigate whereby there are fatalities in that accident. But it is a requirement that you must notify emergency services, that is EMS, and you must notify or just phone 10177 as an emergency so that they can respond to the scene.
In a crash like this, Chief Tembe, that happened at 5 in the morning on a Sunday, shouldn't there be either from police or JMPD or whoever's called to the scene immediately before it's taken to the RTMC, shouldn't there be equipment for the testing of bloods, etc., to see if anybody is, illegally driving, for instance, maybe under the influence of anything?
Yes, the first responders, ordinary traffic officers, they must do the breathalyzer test. So once you do the breathalyzer, you do both of the drivers, so determine whether they were in their right state of mind. But in most cases, when a person is involved in an accident like this, they are a bit confused. They are not orientated to what is happening. So it takes a bit of time. Hence, we need to have EMS to be there so that they can calm them down, and not only just calm them down, but stop the bleeding to those who must be bleeding.
Tell me, what does the law say about, for instance, with the story that we just aired, the said driver, Percy Nkadimeng, was driving with a learner's license that he obtained about 19 days before the crash. His father, Chipani Nkadimeng, says in his sworn statement that he was a passenger. So let's say because he's the adult, he does have actually a license, a driver's license. We checked on the system. What is his responsibility as the person who actually has the authority in terms of the license? Because his son had a learner's that was brand new.
Yeah, in terms of the law, it's that if you have got a learner's license, you can't drive on your own. So it was right what he did, because he was driving with somebody who has got a driver's license.
All right, but what is his responsibility, Chipani Nkadimeng, in that instance? He noticed a little later that he was bleeding. Obviously, as a passenger and the one who has the driver's license, if you are disorientated or if you are injured, etc., you can't necessarily assume the responsibility of the authority driver, right? But in that instance, where he actually wasn't immediately injured or didn't notice an immediate injury, what's his responsibility?
Yes, he takes responsibility to ensure that the scene, those that are around there that are injured, he assist them in terms of, if he know about first aid, he will be able to assist them and take the responsibility, because the one with a learner's driver's license is not, he hasn't got the responsibility in terms of him driving. Hence, you must have somebody who has got a driver's license to make sure that, in fact, it's just like he's monitoring him that is driving properly.
Chief Tembe, I'm not expecting you obviously to answer, not necessarily in this particular case, but in general. Is it a trend that you used to find when you were still chief of the JMPD of people with access to money, or people who are powerful in any shape, way, or form, trying to cover up their faults in an accident? Was it something that is, a common thing?
Yes, it's a common thing. Others, when they're involved in an accident, especially those that are driving taxis without a driver's license, more so if ever it's a foreigner, they run away. And in some other instances, they cover up. Immediately after the accident, he will be taken to the hospital or be taken home because he will be afraid of being breathalyzed, that it will be found that he was drunk. Because once you are found that you are drunk, obviously even the insurance won't pay. And it makes worse when the case come up where you have to go to court.
And people have died.
And people have died, and it works on you, in fact.
Chief, you know, for us what was also interesting was the license disc part and the roadworthy certificate part. Now, you saw the pictures on screen of how that Mercedes-Benz GL 500 looked on the 30th of July 2023 after the accident. Suddenly, on the 7th of August, it's got a roadworthy certificate and a brand new license disc, etc. When you go for a roadworthy certificate, what is expected of you? Do you not have to take the car there physically?
You have to take the car there physically. But as I was the chief of police, in most cases, because of corruption, most of the people don't take the car, but they just go there with the papers, they get it done without having the car there. It happens every now and then.
So obviously this is something that even goes beyond, you know, just the corruption of a person, just knowing that, you know, people at those companies that are supposed to give roadworthy certificates are corruptible is a concern.
Yes, they are corrupt. The cause of most of this accident is because of corruption in licensing department, in traffic departments. That's the cause of the most of pedestrian and accidents on our road. Now, I mean, there are so many vehicles that has never been to licensing or testing, but they've got the papers. So you get these things every now and then. Most of the people, while I was still the chief of police, have been fired from licensing for doing that. So it happens.
And it's people's lives who are in danger for having unroadworthy vehicles actually still on our roads. You know, Chief Tembe, I'm interested to know if you know what steps the families can take in terms of RAF. I know that you can't tell us exactly legally what they can, but if you can dabble into that, please do as well. And the RAF, when do they start approaching, especially the injured lady? When do they start approaching them? Do they need to wait for police to finish the investigation first?
No, they don't have to wait for the police. They can go straight to this. The CEO is Collins Ritswala. I used to work with him. He is very much knowledgeable with regard to this at RTMC. So they can just start dealing with the issues. In fact, nowadays, I read something that you don't need to have a lawyer to do that. They can just go there and do it directly.
All right. So what would be your words of wisdom as a retired person who used to work with these kind of cases? Where should police start so that they too are not suddenly found wanting in what seems like a very big and cold-hearted cover-up of the deaths of 5 people?
What really make me not to understand what really happened here is that why the police who responded there, where there are 5 people who were there, first thing they will have wanted to know, where is the driver?
Exactly.
And secondly, they should have wanted to know from traffic that responded there, was the breathalyzer, did they take the breathalyzer? So if ever those things are not done, then you start asking yourself, where is the reports? Where are all those other issues? I mean, 5 people die. I mean, it's not like, no, 5 people die. Even if it's 1 person died, those are their procedures that must be taken. That's why RTMC has made it a point that where there's more than 5 people who die in an accident, they must be notified so that they can be able to deal with it, going to court, all these other issues that must be done. Because in policing, if it is not written there and there, because you can go and ask people, some of it they've forgotten about it.
Yeah.
So it should have been, that's why it should be done there. So if it's not written, then it means whatever they do, must be a cover-up.
I have to leave it there for now, Chief Tembe, but I would have expected at least that there would be 2 arrests already, because one driver, in Mr. Nkadimeng, is saying that it was the Polo driver. The Polo driver is saying that it was him. At the end of the day, there are 5 people who have passed away. And while investigations continue, why haven't, at least even if it's both those drivers, arrested, and then they go out on bail to show that there is some justice and the wheels are turning? Thank you so much for coming to speak to us here on eNCA and for your time.
Thanks
That is
so much.
retired Chief of the Johannesburg Metro Police Department, Chief David Tembe.